Hello to all the people out there. This is Miguel from Nerdy Geek Talk, the source for all your nerdy geeky needs, here with the first episode of 2021 for Steel City Bots.
Ooh.
No one seems excited. That's accurate. We've lived through 2020. We're in 2021. 2021 at this point. We're recording this on January 6th of 2021.
For future people, you should probably know what that means.
This day took a turn. For many reasons that we probably won't talk about. But everyone else is here. We have Michael.
Hello.
We have Jared.
Hey.
We have Pipes.
Hello.
And we have Zeus.
Hi, it's me. I'm Zeus.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
it's
we're in 2021. The years come in hot and heavy. Earthrise is basically over. The Netflix show came out. Thrust finally showed up at Target. Kingdom also showed up at Target, along with...
As did Studio 86.
And the buzzworthy toy line, which is a thing.
Hold on, I've been living under a rock for like the last 2 weeks. What is Buzzworthy?
Buzzworthy is a Target exclusive subline that includes a bunch of Bumblebee related figures, majority of which are repacks of the Studio Series line, with one single new mold, which is a core class Bumblebee figure who transforms into G1 Bumper's alternate mode and comes with a spike that has advertised as a single step transformation, but he really has two. You have to flip a panel and then fold him down on his face, and then he's the exosuit vehicle mode.
Okay, I was actually lying about living under a rock, but thanks for the explanation anyways.
Yeah. It retails from between $14.99 and $18.99 depending on your store. It's not worth either.
It looks awful. I gotta be honest. I hate
so
that
bad.
thing.
Like, I'm vaguely interested in the spike, but then even then I'm just like, no. Like, if I really want an exosuit lad, I'll wait for Studio Series. Is it Snarl or Slag?
Slag.
Yeah, Slag. But we have a lot to talk about between. I'm imagining we have tons of gets because the holiday season has come and gone. A bunch of us have Kingdom stuff. We have a good crop. Transformers news also came out today, along with like real people news. We won't talk about the real people news, but before we get into all of that stuff, Michael, I hope you have a history lesson for us.
I do. Yeah,
Cool.
let's go back in time a bit. And since you brought up the very good point that Kingdom, it has been very recently coming out. On this day that we are recording, January 6th, in 1997, the Beast Wars episode Spider's Game premieres in the US. This was the episode that premiered Inferno to the Beast Wars cartoon.
Which means it's the best episode of season 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
fair enough.
It's got Inferno. It's immediately the best episode.
So every episode
I
after
believe
that he's also in is the best episode.
Yes.
Cool.
But only if he makes an appearance. If
But
it's
the one
just
that
an episode
he
of-
first shows up in is the best.
Any episode Inferno is in is great because Inferno is the best character in Beast Wars.
Cool.
Inferno. Terrorize. Nope.
Yep.
For the colony!
For the colony.
For the queen!
Stop yelling. Everyone's
No.
ears are being blown out. What are you doing?
I get very passionate about Inferno.
He has a fire ant thing.
I really like fire ants.
Anywho.
Who's gonna mail Zeus fire ants for his birthday?
Please don't. I like them from a distance and as plastic robots. I don't like real fire ants.
What about not in a distance and in your house?
No, that's the thing I don't like.
I think you might be doing some reverse psychology there. It's alright.
Okay.
No, you don't need to say anymore. I know what you're doing.
Okay, I can't wait to come home one day and just have my house flooded with fire ants.
See? He wants it.
Damn it, I was trying to do a reverse psychology. This doesn't work.
I was sending a private message to someone, so now I wasn't listening to what was happening. But
You
all right.
sent me a
We were
message
talking-
saying, "Are you actually getting the fire ants?" I must
No.
respond.
No, that's
We
not what
were
I did.
It
We were
was.
No,
talking
I saw
about
it.
fire ants.
We have important things to discuss about robots, so everyone calm down.
Okay.
A lot of things have happened since the last time we recorded, along with the new year and the holidays. Netflix War for Cybertron Earthrise premiered. Everyone here but Michael watched it. I don't know if we'll have a specific episode on it, but just quickly sound off. What do people think? Starting with Jared.
Better than Siege, that's for sure, in my opinion at least. I liked it. And that's basically all I can really say. Better than Siege, and I liked it.
Okay. Zeus, you feel the same way?
I went into it with low expectations, and I ended up having a good time all the way through. I thought the first episode was really good. The one where
Don't get too.
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Let's not get too spoilery. Just in the.
Can I say something that a character does, even if it's not like super spoilery?
Sure.
But it's the one where Megatron goes to, like, what is it, Sector 12? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, and he visits
Yeah.
the Decepticons. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that episode. That actually felt like it was, like, not extremely well written, but more well written than I would have thought the show could have handled.
There's a semblance that he's a much deeper character, and
Yeah, there's just like the smallest scrap of, oh, maybe there's actually something interesting going on here.
and then
Like, I really latched onto that, and then they kind of didn't do anything with it.
everything interesting in that episode that they did with Megatron, they abandoned.
Yeah.
Because there's that,
Which is
and
why
then
I said, like, it felt like that one was way too well written for
Right.
the rest of the show.
and because there's that, and then when he's alone, but not really alone. That it's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's interesting stuff here, and then they just
That-
drop all
Oh,
of
I
it.
forgot about that until you just now mentioned it. That was so good.
Mhm.
That was, like, genuinely really good.
Maybe again.
That- those little scraps, those, like, little tiny scraps of character that are
Mhm.
there are so potentially interesting.
And
that it,
there's little
it makes me
bits.
disappointed that he's just, like, a Saturday morning cartoon villain for the rest of the show, but with all the charisma taken out.
There's small bits of stuff that Siege also had that for whatever reason they picked up probably a bit too late in Earthrise. So I'm hoping that there's stuff that they set up in Earthrise that they pay off way too late in Kingdom. So at the very least, we can be like, well, at least that paid off, kind of.
Yeah. No, like, there's so many little nuggets of good stuff in the show. I really wish that this had been handed on. I really wish that they'd, written a second draft for the series.
Or had more
Like-
episodes to
Yeah, more
flesh
episodes,
stuff out.
more time to develop. It feels like with a little bit of, like, retooling, this could have been a genuinely really good piece of Transformers media.
Drop everything where you're trying to retell stories that people have told better, and everything
Yeah,
that you're
stop- Right.
and everything that you're
Stop
introducing,
trying to- Right.
let it
No.
flourish. But yeah, John, what if
Stop trying to be the next, like, I don't know. Stop trying to be the next great Transformers and just be what it should be. Because, like, it'll happen naturally. If you're trying to be a good Transformers show and just, like, by referencing the old stuff, it's not going to work. You gotta, like, do your own thing.
right? Pipes, go.
I Okay, I gotta be real. I enjoyed Siege, so I was kind of excited to watch it, and I still enjoyed this one more than Siege. It definitely had weak moments. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed my watch.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I had a good time with it. It's not like the end all be all. It's not the best like piece of animation, animated television on the face of the earth. But it's also not like it's not the thing that's killing people's childhoods. Like some people seem to be touting, or it on the other side of things. It's not the G1 show that everyone's always wanted either. Um,
Yeah.
what was I saying? The one thing, the major criticism that I had on the show, and it's something that I had for Siege, and I'm carrying over to Earthrise, and I think it's just going to be like a problem with this entire trilogy, is that they rely too heavily on the assumption that the audience already knows about Transformers, because there's a lot of stuff that they introduce that they never really explain, that you're like, oh yeah, that's from this show. And it's like, huh, I only know that because I watched that other show, or because I read the wiki about this other show,
Or because I read all those comics.
or because I read all those comics. And so a lot, especially because this show at times feels like it's trying to bring in a new audience, maybe an audience or an audience that isn't as familiar with Transformers. So there's like, one of the key things is there's a lot of usage of flashbacks in Earthrise that I felt were necessary when certain ideas were first brought up in Siege. It's like, oh, here's an idea, flashback to that thing and explaining it better. And those flashbacks happen now. And it's like, what? So that's the main thing that I was like, I had problems with, but otherwise I liked some of the things that they introduced. I liked some of the ideas and attempts at the world that they're trying to develop. The only problem is I feel is that they don't have enough episodes for what they're trying to do. And at times it feels like they thought they were going to have more episodes, and then they got cut back to the 6 episodes they had. So they had to cut stuff out, but they leave dangling pieces of plot points that they either abandoned and then randomly bring back in, or they set up stuff that they never pay off. So there's a lot of interesting moments. The voice cast is once again hit and miss, I think, and I think a lot of that's more on the voice direction than it is on the actual actors themselves.
Part of it is also just that Optimus still doesn't sound like Optimus when he's emoting.
Right. I said that. I think I said that when we talked about Siege. That Jake Fushi, at least in this series, when he gets angry, he breaks character.
Yeah.
And or he turns into Christian Bale Batman, and unfortunately, Optimus Prime is angry and yelling through a lot of Earthrise, so he becomes Christian Bale Batman a lot. But yeah, people go check it out. Maybe we'll do an episode about it. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just do a once over WFC trilogy thing. Some of the stuff we have to talk about as far as the toy side of things does get into some spoilery stuff for at least Earthrise and potentially Kingdom.
Before we move on to that, I had like one more question about.
I just want to preface that before we get into anything else. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask for the people who have watched the show, how did we all feel about the character that showed up in episode 3? I'm trying to say this without spoiling it.
Now you make me go to Netflix.
That was the one where they were. That was the one where they went to the space bridge.
Oh, I thought he was weird.
I thought it was like interesting but underdeveloped.
No, exactly. That's why I think it was just weird, because the way that like he spoke and stuff, it just felt so like strange. I really do think that he could use some more screen time to kind of make a lot of to make it sort of clear. Maybe it was just my first watch that was rough, but I was so lost on what he was doing.
There's a story there that they don't have enough time to tell, and what little bits they give you aren't that great, and also the voice direction, or at least the processing of the voice actor's performance, whatever like post-production stuff that they did, made him basically unintelligible.
I think the one thing that this does really well, which doesn't really make like the one thing the show does really well, which doesn't make sense since it's clearly geared at like an older audience, is it gives you like little nuggets of things that you could develop. And if it was like a child that had all these toys, you know, it's like something that they could expand on when they're, you know, when they're playing with all their figures.
One of the
like there's room to like headcanon stuff, and basically a lot of jumping off points for if there was a kid watching this to just go pick up their figures and start coming up with a story. But the thing is, like, this is definitely not made for kids, so that's kind of a weird compliment to giving the show.
One of the other problems that I have is just a lot of the bullet points that they hit on are basically the same bullet points that you'll hear John Warden talking about when you like check out coverage from Toy Fair and stuff. Because a lot of the stuff that ended up happening, I was basically like, oh, so John Warden told us the plot of this show back at Toy Fair when everyone got to see Wave 2 and 3 for the first time.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things where I'm like, you probably should develop your show a little bit more. Unless Hasbro just has such a tight control that you're basically like, no, you basically have to... This little brief, this little press release about what the line is about, that's basically what you have to write. But, whatever.
That seems like it'd be a weird way to run.
And that's what they're doing, and the show's weird, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so enough.
I feel like there's a lot of room for you to kind of imagine what's going on in the universe of the show, which can either be a compliment or a criticism depending on what mood I'm in.
It'd be great for kids, but everyone who's watching this is anywhere from 18 and up, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
And either complaining because it's like this is like the old man's show, or the old men are saying it's like this isn't like my show from when I was a boy.
Yeah, no, it's
and all the other people who would.
It's a show that's trying to be for like everyone and ends up not really being that great for anyone.
Mm-hmm. All right, enough about Earthrise. Let's move on to toys. We got some news to talk about because I'm not sure what the last thing we talked about is, but at least today we got a number of leaks, so I think we can talk about those. It seems that we're at a point where Netflix War for Cybertron Wave 3, so the Walmart exclusive line, is starting to crop up as far as like samples in the factory. So I'm assuming that currently is when they're producing these figures. So we've gotten a look at a number of the deluxes, and they seem to corroborate some listings and some descriptions of the rest of the toy line. So we'll talk a bit about all of that. So the first things that we saw this morning were a rusted out version of the Siege Dotson mold with the smokescreen head, based off of listings and things from people who seem to have insider info. This will be named Barricade, although it pretty much is representing the Rust zombies and the Sparkless, as they were called, from Netflix Siege, the ones that ate Moonracer, and then a purple translucent Paleotrex that, at the very least, seems to be homaging the skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex that's scanned in the first episode of Beast Wars when the Predacons are adopting their beast modes. And then the last one that we got right before we recorded is or two.
There were two that we got.
Two of them. I already forgot one of them.
Yeah, because one of them's not that interesting.
No, Kingdom Cheetor in more. I would say his blues and yellows are more accurate to both his original toy and his Beast Wars on-screen appearance. And then he's got the green eyes for his cheetah mode. But it seems that he's lost the paint on his shins and on his bladed whip weapon. And then, again, if you're listening to this episode and you haven't seen Earthrise, and you probably want to, and not go in with like knowing anything, I'd say just abandon us now. But in the show, there's a Quintesson called Decius who has a battalion of Ironhide clones that are in black and gray. I don't know why. I guess they couldn't afford to model Alicons. But
they only had like 6 new character models in the show.
Right. So again, they couldn't afford to do Alicons. So we get a bunch of Ironhides in black and gray, and so that's what this other deluxe figure is: Ironhide in black and gray, with what's probably a Quintesson symbol, although it just looks like someone marked it with a highlighter in these photos.
Kind of looks like someone got a little bit of like guacamole on the figure.
Or guac, yeah. Now, based on the rumor listings and everything, the Paleotrex likely is not among the deluxe assortment. It may be packed with one of the figures in the other price points. So the last deluxe that we're missing is apparently another Sparkless based out of the Sideswipe mold.
And is that the one that they're calling Deep Cover?
Apparently,
Deep
yes. Apparently,
yeah.
They're using Deep Cover's name twice. Once in the Netflix line as a Sparkless zombie.
And then once in Selects, right?
And then, yeah, Selects possibly as an Earth mode retooling of that mold.
Yeah.
So
are we going to talk about what the rumors are that the Paleotrex is part of, or are we just not touching that?
Let's leave it alone for now. I don't know if anyone has. I mean, I think we talked about it a bit, so I'm very excited about, or I'm excited with Cheetor. Also annoyed because I already own the Kingdom one. But I like the.
I've never felt better about not being able to find a figure.
I'm just happy I'm within the return window, so I can send them back to the store if needed to save some money.
Where'd you get yours?
Target. I pre-ordered the first. I pre-ordered the wave of deluxes because Targets were the cheapest at the time, and they shipped mine out because Target, for whatever reason, ships my pre-orders. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm assuming, are you gonna get, crap. Are you gonna get Cheetor from Netflix, or are you gonna opt in for the mainline one?
Honestly, I never really cared to figure out the difference, so I'll probably just get the regular one.
It's really just, like, his yellows are different, and he's got, like, darker blues. So if you...
And he's got the gradient.
Oh, yeah, he's got the little, like, the lighter fur on his face. So it's, like, little deco tweaks that, like...
Make him look more like a cheetah.
I mean,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's, like, it really depends... Like, for me, it's, like, the Netflix one looks closer to what, in my mind's eye, I think of Cheetor, so that's why I'm like, alright, bye-bye, retail one. But... people don't care. They can just scoop up the retail one because he'll probably be easier to find.
Yeah, that's true. I like how the regular Cheetor looks. I think I like it enough not to just to get it. But I'll probably also wait to see stuff.
Yeah.
I prefer the look of the Netflix one from what I've seen But I also realize that means I'm probably going to end up paying like $30 to get it from Copperbot because I don't go to Walmart.
Same here, pretty much. Like, I haven't see any Kingdom like in stores, like on shelving, but I will probably get the Kingdom Cheetor, and if I like him, I'll just stick with that. But if I don't really like the look of him, I might go with the Netflix one if I can find one. But I will not be going out of my way for the Netflix one.
What about the other stuff? So the Quintesson Ironhide, the Rust zombies, are those things?
I might get like the Rust zombie, but other than that, again, I won't be going out of my way for them.
Oh, that's actually something. Depending on if the Paleotrix rumors are true, that might be like one of the only other Netflix figures I buy. Because I think right now the only one I have is Bumblebee.
I got yeah, I think in my opinion, I probably will get like maybe like one or two of this. I might just get one of like the Sparkless and stuff, and then the Quintesson. I might get a couple Quintesson drones because I kind of like how they look. But so far, the Netflix stuff I've got is good. I've only got B and Prime, but they're both really good.
Oh yeah, I want that G2 Prime so bad. It's like him and Soundwave are the only two right now that I really desperately need.
Next time I go to Walmart, I'll let you know.
Alright, cool.
I went earlier, but I go to like two different Walmarts depending on like where I'm at. The one I went to only had the Wave 1, but another one I went to had both. But no, yeah, I'll let you know. I guess I'll let everyone know if I find any more.
Awesome. Alright, that's cool. Thank you.
I won't upcharge you. Don't worry.
I thought you said you will, and I was like, all right, that's weird to say. It's like, I'll upcharge you, don't worry.
That does sound like something that John would say, though.
I am the world's biggest scalp. I actually have all the thrusts. It didn't sink in a ship or anything. They're just here.
You commandeered the ship.
The amount of people... And I hate myself for kind of succumbing to it, because like when I started reading about people being like basically like conspiracy theorying that like, oh yeah, the thrusts are what also ended up on the bottom of the ocean. I'm like, no, that can't. What if? So I don't know how many times.
So was there anything that actually ended up on the bottom of the ocean?
No, a shipping container did, and at the very least, Bandai confirmed a bunch of convention exclusive Gokus ended up at the bottom of the ocean. That's I think the only like toy thing that like I've heard of that is in that shipping container, but I don't know about anything else. But I was eyeing some of those thrusts that were on eBay because I was like, oh, what if, and then eventually
about to pay like $100 for a thrust.
I was waiting. They started going down, and when they were around 50, I was like, But then, I got...
That's still double retail, though. That's still, like, a lot of money.
That's less than double, but even then, I was like, but then my...
I thought you said 60. Did you
no,
say 50?
I said 50.
I heard 60. That's on me.
Shipping label got printed, but then that thing never shipped. And then when I was in the store, I found one, so I bought it. And then the one that was in shipping label hell eventually actually shipped. So I'll have a spare to return or help someone if someone needs it.
If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind that
We'll talk. But he's also becoming incredibly easy to find. I'm seeing lots of pictures where people are like, "Wow, thrust is really hard to find," and then they take a picture of 6 of them.
Right, but the thing is, I go to Target at most like once a month.
Okay, I'll be able to help you. No worries.
All right, cool.
Did that happen with the Seeker 2-pack? Where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, we can't find him," and then now they're like,
Well, they were everywhere, but now they're not selling them anymore.
Yeah, no, they're gone, and I never saw one
Yeah.
in person.
My Target, there's a point I saw like 6 or 8 backs up, and there's one.
I think I saw
at my
like
local
3 or
Target
4
now.
once.
Same, and then with the Decepticon clones, we had a good bunch. But,
I never once saw the clones, actually.
I saw them once, and that was the only time I got them.
I saw them everywhere. Never bought
I
them.
never saw them.
Then wanted them, and then they were all gone from the area. I bought one for full price, plus like some like shipping, and so I ended up like paying a little bit more than retail. And then the reports came out that like one dude found like 30 of them for like $8, and I'm like, cool.
oh yeah, I remember
yeah.
that.
Runabout.
Oh no.
Runabout's the other one where like because Runabout was a solid case of 8 of them, so all the stores around here had a bunch of them for like a week, and then it seems like everyone only got one case because I haven't seen him since.
It's
I saw
like
them
how
once, I know.
Leadfoot showed up for like there were like a bunch for a while, but then once they were gone, they were gone.
Leadfoot lasted longer around here than Runabout did. So Runabout's going for like $40 online now, 40 or 50. It's crazy.
I remember like the other day, whenever I was like either just before or just after work, I was checking the figure section, and we had like 4 runabouts, and the very next day that I worked, they were gone.
Someone bought them all.
Someone bought them all,
Totally.
sitting on them, and then they're gonna scalp them scalp them for like $100 in like a couple months. You watch and you wait.
Oh yeah, that's why whenever I got my thrust, it was at the end of, well, it was actually like I had like an hour left of my shift on carts, and I was doing a run around the store for abandoned carts, and I saw two thrusts on the shelf. I'm just like, oh my god, these things are probably gonna be gone. And thankfully, whenever I clocked out with the buy-in, went to buy one, another collector was also in the aisle. Thankfully, it was like an actual collector, not a scalper. He grabbed one, I grabbed one, and that was it.
You looked at each other for a bit, like just locked eyes, and was like, yeah. And then you broke your separate ways. If I remember that, because you shared it in our group chat. I think it was like what 50. You saw them, and 50 minutes later is when you clocked out. So for almost an hour, they sat and no one picked them up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of incredible.
And then whammo, they were gone. All right. So yeah. So that's. I mean, Michael, I don't know if you've any thoughts on any of the leaked Netflix stuff.
I was very interested in the cheater when I was first seeing the green eyes and that blue, that nice deeper blue. But after getting the full picture of noticing where there is lack of paint, I'm honestly think I'm fine with the regular Cheetor. At best, I may get a repro label set if I think it's worth it and really improves the look of Cheetor overall.
Wait, for which one? For which one, though?
The regular deluxe
So
retail.
Okay, so you're sticking with regular. All right.
Yeah, since I already have it, and like, again, I like that deep blue, and I want those green eyes. But since they lost a lot of the blue on the legs to be more accurate for the beast mode, honestly, I think I'm more okay with this since I'll be displaying cheater and robot mode more often. And
in the end,
and then
green eyes are something that repro labels could probably do. Like do a set of like,
absolutely.
here's green eyes, here's red eyes, here's blue eyes, all with pupils.
They'd probably have to do them as some kind of like vinyl thing instead of the usual foil stickers because it's a rounded surface.
Yeah, but they've done that before, and they do pretty good jobs for rounded corners and stuff.
Yeah, no, that was a thing that I just realized.
Yeah, I got you. And then I think I might be interested in the Sparkless, though more so to headcanon them as extra Junkions, which I know Miguel, we were talking before, and you were like, I prefer the idea of like the Chunkyans fighting the Sparkless. But I'm like, I'll have to see about my thoughts once like they get closer to actually coming out. No, purple Paleotrex. That honestly looks pretty nice, so I may end up getting that leader set if that's his in there.
So yeah, the other things that are rumored, and there have been listings. So there's listings for another Seeker and a crap. Cheetor just took a nosedive. I don't know. All right, hopefully he's fine. So another.
That Cheetor is like terrifying, isn't it? Because of
the plastic's awful, and the tabs and some of the thinner bits around the head are stressing and breaking.
I saw those breakage pictures, and I was like terrified.
Not good. There's a lot of little QC things on some of the Wave 1 stuff. I'm hoping that later production runs and even like later like of the same characters are fine, and if anything, then maybe just running changes on the mold if for redecos. But it's not. Yeah, Cheetor has issues. Optimus Primal has the scraping on the white paint on his thighs, and
I've had that.
Black Arachnia.
The terrifying chest tab, right?
There's a tab that's underneath her chest that breaks on a lot of copies. Mine's fine for the moment, but even then, the part of her chest that has to tab in is on a hinge that on my copy is tight enough that you can really just have her having her torso like resting together without actually plugging it in, and you'll probably be fine. But yeah, so the Voyagers. So there's a Netflix Primal on the way. No real. We could speculate on what it could be, but there's really no indication of what the deco is. Or at least not that I remember. The Voyager Seeker is apparently the Siege mold, and it's going to be another Sparkless, so there'll be enough representation of the different models that were used in that scene from the first part of the trilogy. And then the spoiler pack leader class figure is allegedly that Paleotrex along with some version of the Voyager Megatron mold family, either the Siege or the Earthrise. I can't really be bothered to remember which.
Most likely it's going to be the Siege, though, because there's precedent for them going back and using Siege molds, even if there are newer ones. That's what they ended up doing with the Nemesis Prime spoiler.
Right, but then at the same time, Voyager Prime and Earthrise is based off of the Earthrise leader, whereas in the show, he's still the Siege model, right. So...
I'm talking specifically about in the spoiler packs, though.
I mean, sure, but either way, it really...
Odds are they're going to use the on-screen model for something that, if it is meant to be a spoiler, is at least going to be on-screen for a couple of seconds.
I guess, but who knows? And then he apparently comes with an accessory to be able to, like, for his chest, where you can then plug the Allspark, which is also there, so... You'll get a free D20 with your set.
Woo.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the Netflix stuff. There's a whole slew of rumors that came out around New Year's. We're not really going to go into them because there's
the majority are unconfirmed.
There's a huge crop of stuff that really there's no indication as of now. Some of this stuff that we just talked about was on that list, so it seems like it will end up being true, but also it's probably... I mean, you never know, and it's probably better if we just talk about the stuff where we have some pictures, so we can say, okay, here's some pictures of stuff, here's some other stuff people are talking about. It might be true, and I don't know.
We could talk about whether or not we're interested in Slammer, but we'll never know until we get pictures of Slammer.
I mean, right. I mean, we know that Slammer is happening because people have been talking about him enough, and we know that he may or may not be Warpath again. Which is really saying nothing.
Wait, again? Is there a Warpath? or a Slammer before?
Oh well, he'll be the Warpath,
The Warpath
mold.
mold again.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's like
I thought you meant there was like another Slammer from Warpath.
no. Slammer has only ever gotten one toy, so this is Slammer's time to shine, and he gets robot mode.
Siege.
What happened?
He kind of like Six Gun or any of the other,
Weaponizers.
Weaponizers, yeah. And
I'm
even the
excited.
modulators, I think most of those didn't have robot modes before, right?
Nope, none of them did.
None of the Micromaster bases did.
Other than what's his name that goes with Scorponok.
Fast Track.
Fast Track, thank you.
When Fast Track's a weaponizer, so
Yeah, not sure if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, because he's more akin to like Triptychon's Full Tilt.
or Fort Max's COG.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
I think we'd ever get Necro is his name, right? Isn't there like another guy that went with Triptychon?
Neck.
Yeah, that's the headmaster, the Titan Master for Full Tilt.
Right.
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering if we ever get like I know there's that like United Wind Charger repaint.
Right. There's and I forget what he's called there because Wipeout. Yeah, because Wipeout was the Marvel Comics. They gave Triptychon another buddy, and they gave him Tailgate's character model for some reason.
Yeah.
Peeling back the layers. All right. So, is there anything else interesting enough that we want to talk about as far as news? I can't. That's
sightings other than like these new leaks.
Well, right. Well, I mean, there's lots of sightings with which I think we can. I pretty much talked about at the top of the show.
There were a couple of reviews of some Kingdom Wave 2 figures, like we've seen.
Oh, Air Razor, yes.
We've seen Air Razor and Ractonite now. That's it.
I didn't watch the Ractonite review, but I did see at least like the pictures and stuff of Air Razor, and she looks great.
Air Razor looks incredible.
And then I like how much the wings can compress on her backpack.
So she can have like full wings, or she can have basically the cartoon look where she's got like the little baby wings.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she looks phenomenal.
She also has that weird in between mode that they showed off in stock pictures, where she's like half bird, half Air Razor.
Yeah.
Animorphs Tobias mode.
Funny.
Yep, Animorphs Tobias mode.
I like that a lot.
Yes. I had Tobias.
Tobias.
I didn't have Air Razor as a kid. I had Transmetal Air Razor as a kid, and then I had Tobias's toy. I had Tobias, and I had
Tobias was your Air Razor.
I had Basically, I had Tobias. I had the Gorilla.
Was the Gorilla what's his name, like Max or something, right?
I don't know. I only remember Tobias's name, and then I had the Trirex, which was awful. I made the mistake of taking the Trirex apart, and I never had that T-Rex put together ever again. It was
Marco.
awful.
His name is Marco.
Okay.
Polo?
No. Also,
Get out.
I just realized how much. I just looked at this. This looks like so much like Kingdom Kong's upright gorilla mode. It's incredible. I need this.
It's not good.
That's what I mean. It looks terrible, and I love it, and I need it.
I'm afraid.
I'm very afraid. One piece of like big news that came out was and this was on New Year's. Takara Tomy showed the line art for Masterpiece Skids.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And for some reason,
I forgot about that, and now I feel bad.
And for some reason, they're going back to the Hisui Car era design philosophy, where he looks like the Diaclone toy with a cartoon-accurate head.
Well, it's because they're going to do a plus version that's the toy head, obviously.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean more so that they're not just doing, his character model from the cartoon, which would have looked awful, but...
Yeah.
That's going to be the plus version.
A whole different mold. Yep. But yeah, he like. I'm not getting Masterpiece. I tapped out of that game. But the fact that they're going back to, or at least based off of this line art, it seems like they're going back to that old style. at least for this release, interesting, and I'd imagine incredibly infuriating for anyone who actually collects Masterpiece. Who's really a stickler for everything looking the same or same-ish, because they're just switching back to that old style, which for people who probably didn't dig the cartoon style, it's great. For people who did dig it, maybe annoying. And for people who want all of their masterpieces to look pretty much the same, well, yeah, take your pick. But,
I get that argument, but, like, the thing is, I feel like those, like, super cartoon accurate masterpieces, there weren't enough of them that I feel like, I don't know, I'm not a masterpiece guy, but I feel like there's not enough of those strictly cartoon.
It started around MP30.
When they did the new Megatron, right? Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, but I feel like that would
it
work.
started more with Inferno.
Inferno and Grapple were the first
Which
two.
what were their numbers?
I don't remember. I don't think it matters.
I feel like it's 29 and 30.
All right.
Well, no, it does matter, because depending on the number, that'll tell us how many of the like toy style ones they've done.
I mean,
But like, I think my main point with that was just that I like strictly cartoon accurate. I guess I was just thinking of like MP44 and that new.
Okay, MP33. So it's like half and half.
It's just one of those things where I don't know that they're really going to go back and do like for having like everything look the same, especially since they went from like, oh, every couple of years we're going to do this like figure that's like a whole like celebration of like a character, and it really doesn't matter if they're in the same scale or anything, because like the first few masterpieces are incredibly huge, and then Grimlock's tiny, and then they did Rodimus, and then Rodimus was kind of like the ushering in of the new scale, because then they did Optimus, and then they did all the cars, and even then, like this, like they're showing the line art for Skids, and then we're getting this Starscream that's slavishly the Sunbow cartoon model. So it's just this like, I could understand if people are frustrated or potentially frustrated with the fact that their MP shelf doesn't look like the same. Like I'm imagining myself as an MP, or like when I was an MP collector, and I'd be pretty annoyed if I was still like buying these, because I'm like, hold up, you're going back to the aesthetic I like. Are you ever going to go back and maybe redo some of those guys in that aesthetic? Especially because the tweet seems to suggest, because it's a machine translation, that's all we have, but it seems to suggest that Skids is also going to be a much simpler toy compared to like your Sunstreakers, your Megatrons, and everything, which are still like, I think, serviceable, but the complexity of Masterpiece did get very like up there, since they're trying to make toys transform into stuff that like the whole shapes change and whatnot. I don't know. It just, I'm glad I'm not an MP collector is basically my my thing.
Like briefly dipped my toes into Masterpiece collecting, and I've sold off all but 3 last year. So.
And like in the end, it's like pick up what you like. Don't just be like, oh, I'm gonna collect a single line and get everything. It's like, no, because you might really like the way the Skids looks. In the end, it's just like, yeah, get it, or like wait. If you really want to have it as like not Skids, they'll probably do crosscut.
Oh god, if they do a crosscut, I'm gonna lose so much money.
I don't think they could really. I don't know that they would do anyone else.
Do a 2-pack color like the hobby ones that are based off
right. That's the only, like, they could do that, or they could do No, that was
Burnout, maybe the black Diaclone. They could do more Diaclone stuff.
Oh well, yeah, they could do Burnout.
MP thing.
I was trying to remember. I'm like, I kept remembering, because there's the Honda City Turbo that Skids transforms into. There's a movie in Japan, or I think it's either Japanese or it's some movie where the Honda City Turbo is featured as like a vehicle in the movie, and a third-party company made a transformer out of that like movie car. So that's where I keep thinking of. But yeah, the black one. And
my thing with Masterpiece is I'm just into like the Diaclone repaints. Like I have Road Rage and that's it. So I'd probably only go in for Masterpiece if they did some Diaclone stuff.
And
Even then, it's
I
kind
was
of
almost there, but then like they started committing to that with Generation Selects, so I'm fine staying in that like realm. But no, I think especially a lot of the Diaclone repaints look really cool. So
yeah.
hopefully they do Burnout sooner than later, so you can enjoy what will probably be a good toy if they're going back to the Hisui
I'm sure
philosophy.
it'll be.
Just trying to scroll through. I mean, there's like looks at what's it called? Red RC and Cheetor.
I don't care about red.
We got first looks at Bumblebee and Starscream, who don't look good.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot how. Oh god, I forgot about round Starscream.
I hate that.
Soap Starscream,
yeah.
and then Bumblebee, who looks like he's based off of like his Dreamwave model. They abandoned Megatron, Soundwave, and Optimus are like G1 cartoon model sheet, and then Starscream and Bumblebee are like slightly updated, modernized stuff, and then you have RC, and then
looks like the Starscream looks like somewhere between the Marvel G1 and the Dreamwave.
yeah, it's not good.
See, I just think red can be really good if they start just like pulling like from random things, like do like Prime RC Cheetor and just take from like other continuities instead of just doing like, oh, here's Megatron, Optimus, Soundwave, all from G1.
Well, you gotta get the big names in there.
I mean, I guess, but I have a sneaking suspicion in my mind that it's just gonna be like, hey, here's G1.
Here's G1, but it doesn't do the transformation, which is like half the reason people buy Transformers.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried. Yeah. I want them to do like either like deep, like really deep cuts, or just some like mix in different continuities.
And that'd be
Autobot.
That'd be like, I think the different continuities thing is like the way to go. My main problem with the red stuff in general is just the fact that the sculpts are really look really gummy. Like those the Titan heroes, like the hollow like figures you always see, like the what is it? They always sell either the G1. Well, yeah. All they have are the G1 guys, except for Shockwave. Shockwave's the Prime one for some reason. Like, I still see Prime Shockwave amongst them. They're like shampoo bottles, and the red figures are basically articulated shampoo bottles. They look awful. And like, sure, like if it were like even I think if they were a little cheaper, like $15, and they were everywhere, I think it'd be fine. But the fact that they're also like a Walmart exclusive line, it just becomes this thing where people are like, well, I need to get it because it's only a Walmart. And it's like, it's just frustrating.
I'd be way more interested in the red line if it was a Build-A-Figure line. Imagine doing a Build-A-Figure wave and you get like an Ultra Magnus at the end of it.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be cool. That would actually make me interested in Transformers Red. But for now, it's just like, I'm paying the same price as a deluxe for like half the functionality. No thanks.
Yeah.
And I have to go to Walmart, which I generally just refuse to because the Walmarts around here suck.
Right. Alright. There's really no other...
Walmart hater Zeus.
Yeah, Walmart hater Zeus. There's not really much else to talk about as far as news. We're in the dry spell before, like, we'll have to wait till, like, a Fan First Friday or whatever replaces Toy Fair, where we'll get, like, Kingdom Wave 3 and, like, whatever exclusive. Well, actually, no, we'll probably get a slew of Fan First Fridays that just pump out exclusives for the next year.
Yeah, then, like, other Studio Series 86 stuff. If they're doing more.
The rumor mill says that we'll be seeing Gnaw and Gnaw Wreckar. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I heard myself, and then no one said anything, so I wanted to make sure
My
that...
audio
Yeah, I
glitched
was
out again.
confused
That
what
was
was
my bad.
going on there.
It kind of
Same.
seemed like you trailed off. We were waiting for you to say more.
I did, but that's because I was trying to assess what was happening.
No, my
okay.
audio glitched out again.
Yeah. All right, so I guess like we could talk about what we got.
Hey.
I'm gonna limit it to
Hey.
things that are new, that are within arm's reach and or in front of you, because I feel like in the
I
amount of...
set myself up perfectly then because I have like all the new things in front of me.
Okay, so Zeus goes
I'm
last.
pretty good too.
It's like 3 things. Calm down.
Okay. Zeus still goes last.
Okay.
Let's
That's rude.
let's
That's
hear
incredibly rude.
from John, since he's hasn't... It's been a while since you've been on, but yeah, stuff in front of you. What new stuff have you picked up?
Gear Pipes, Super Megatron, God Neptune, and then I got the Earthrise Ratchet 2-pack, but that is currently getting ready to be shipped off to someone who wants it more than me. And that's
Cool.
it. Oh, and I got Black Rorichi.
All right.
That's it.
I picked up some of that stuff as well, so I can piggyback off of that. I want to ask, how is the quality control on your God Neptune?
Everything's really good except for Scylla, who came out of the box with like like her faceplate for squid mode.
Yeah.
That whole like, I guess I don't know what the arm is. I don't know if that's the right word. The arm that it's attached to is like cracked out of the box, and I'm suspecting it's gonna break. So she's just gone from squid to leg mode, and I've been meaning to contact Hasbro. But other than that, everything else is pretty good. Nothing really bad. The chest plate spikes fall off a little easy, but it's something to get worked up about.
I may be able to help you.
Really?
We'll talk later.
Okay.
Because my set...
Miguel, what bad choices did you make?
You got so much talking to do after this episode.
Yeah, I do. I had to order a replacement set because mine is it's not great. Quality control is really bad, and then so I had a good slew. The balance of the cosmic scales, as far as like, or karmic scales, I don't know. Like a lot of my kingdom figures that are known for having QC issues are all great, but then in fear of stuff disappearing that I haven't opened that was exclusives, I opened a bunch of exclusives up, and I need to contact people about things, because my God Neptune set, for the most part, is okay. His name isn't Snaptrap, it's something else.
Half shell.
Half Shell.
Turtler.
No, Turtle is
Oh,
Japanese
Turtle.
one.
It's a Japanese name. Never
Yeah.
mind. Sorry.
Half Shell. My Half Shell has a lot of the loose joints that a lot of people have reported, although a lot of those are put together with screws, so I can go in and fix that. My Cloaca, I don't remember what his name is.
Which one?
The
Colacanth.
Colacan.
Colagon is.
Colagon, yeah. Colagon has some has some parts that didn't get molded correctly that were frustrating. So and I think for the most part everyone else was okay. So that's just some stuff where I may have made some poor decisions. So the build quality is kind of all right, but then some, like, Colagon was the part where I was like, this can't stand. Similarly, my alternate universe Optimus Prime had a ton of issues. He's got the problem where the pin in his back is misfired, so or warped, so his the left side of his body doesn't peg in right. He has a misfired pin among like in one of the inner panels that you fold out for vehicle mode. That was misfired. It's all stressed and cracked. And then one of his headlight, like the clear plastic that goes over the headlights, one of those was bent like inward, so it's curved.
Ooh.
So like where most people's alternate universe primes are dead. Mine's super dead.
Told you, bro. Battle damage.
Yeah. So that was annoying. But thankfully, Kingdom Wave 1, I have. Who am I missing? I'm missing Cyclonus. I didn't get the core class Optimus or the leader class Optimus, but everyone else I have. So if anyone has any questions about anyone, I can talk to them specifically. If not, I can just run through them rapid fire.
I did want to go back actually real quick. Oh,
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Let's let him go back before I get into more of this. What do you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, I looked at him again. I remember Sea Phantom, the right arm. His shark head falls off way easy. That was the last QC thing. I picked him up and then I touched him in a minute.
Was anyone else? Everything else that was good. How was Super Megatron? See good in the QC
Super
department?
Megatron's amazing. I adore that thing so much.
Oh, but you paid $90 for it, right?
I paid $90 and like the next day, I think it was you who sent it to our group chat. Like, hey, he's 60 now.
Well, he was 60. He was always 60 on Pulse.
I think he was out of stock.
Yeah, no, he sold out really quickly. Yeah. But
yeah, that was it. He was out of stock at the time, and I bought him. And like, either the next day or the day after, he's like, "Oh, he's back."
I think he's out of stock again. But yeah, it was something. I remember you were like,
honestly, I think that he was worth it. There's the only real problem. I think his arms are a little too long in some poses, but I think I've been able to easily fix that in others. So it's nothing I'm too mad about. It's
pretty crazy how much better that mold is compared to.
Oh yeah.
Galvatron.
Yes. Like I'm a big Galvatron fan, and I think Titans Return Galvatron is one of the few figures I've like returned because I just hated it.
And what's annoying too, though, is that like some of the issues, for me, like part of it is like he feels a bit hollow, and especially because I have both the Titans Return and the Legends. The Titans Return one was just like complete like QC disaster. It like loose and just felt awful. The Legends one was a little bit better, but the render form kit that fixes like the positioning of the I guess it's a fusion cannon and gives him the different head. Those two breathed like new life into my Legends Galvatron. The only problem was when
if you're ever gonna sell that when Kingdom Galvatron comes out, you know who to talk to.
I'm not going to, but if something happens, happens later in life, maybe I'll let you.
You will. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
What's gonna happen to me?
You will.
You don't want to know.
You will. I scooped up the kit in the final like restock that Render Form did, because I think when that kit originally was released, it like took forever to come out, and like people got mad. But I got mine. It's fine. Kingdom Galvatron will probably still replace him on my shelf, but I still like the Titans Return figures. So you're good then with all. What?
I remember hearing about that render form kit, but never seeing it actually show up places.
Well, render form only sells on their site.
I didn't know that. I thought it would be one of those things that sold through like Big Bad.
No, maybe earlier on, but for the most part, render form stuff just is sold direct through the website. Made to order. Takes kind of forever.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like a mass produced kind of thing.
It's more like non-F but slower.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah. So Pipes, I think if you're good, I can keep going then.
Yeah, I'm
cool.
good.
I had a couple questions actually.
Okay, but
one is just like general curiosity. The other one's about quality issues, like
quality
control.
About who?
Have you? Well, one's about the core class, and the other's about Megatron.
Okay, so core class. I have Rat Trap and
you have Ractonite, right?
No, Vertebrake. Who I actually don't. Where the hell did she go?
Yeah. Okay, Vertebrake. That's. I always forget. I get the names mixed up because they're all just very generic. Anyways,
Ractonite.
Have you tried the fossilizer mode where you like put Vertebrake on Rat Trap as armor?
I have not.
Okay, so that was just my general question, and then I had a question about your Megatron, which is like, do you have that issue where the pieces that are on those rails kind of rotate on the pin, like the thighs?
So, describe that? What?
Well, you know how like the thigh pieces are on those kind of tracks so that they can
Oh, yeah.
rotate. Yeah. Do those like rotate on the pin with yours?
Zeus, I know what you're talking about, and the one hip piece does, and the other one does not.
Same thing for mine.
And Miguel, are you just not understanding what I'm
No,
trying to say?
I'm trying to, because I feel like I did that once, but for the most part, mine don't do that.
All right. Because I know that's like a common issue, and it's an issue I have with mine.
I'm more concerned right now about the fact that I do not know where I don't know where Vertebrae went. What?
I took her. You got to give me Legends Galvatron to get her back.
Well, I guess we know what John was talking about now.
Michael, talk about the Kingdom figures that you have while I figure out where Vertebrae went.
Yes, Kingdom figures I have. I have all the deluxes. I have Cyclonus, and I have Beast Megatron. Though I just got notifications from Hasbro Pulse that my pre-orders for Primal and the Core class are apparently going to be filled out soon. They didn't specify when, but like earlier, it sounds like I'll be getting them earlier than their original February 1st release date, so that'll be neat. Beast Megatron, friggin' great. Friggin' awesome. 10 out of 10. Would Megatron again. Cyclonus is also amazing. His knees are weird, but that's just how they work for the transformation. But the jet mode is super slick, and I frickin' love it. It's also so big, and it's just so much fun. Warpath is fine. I appreciate they gave us a better, a new update, a smaller one. My big
or
issue
a bigger one, depending on your perspective.
Yeah, true. One that looks like Warpath and better scales with the mini bots. My big issue, though, with Warpath, like, I can get the transformation down. He's a bit panel heavy, but like, it works. The big annoying thing is, like, at the very least on my copy, I'm not sure how well this is on other people's copies, but to me, on my copy at least, that shield piece that connects underneath, like, the tank mode to, like, that tabs the front together, it really feels like you need that piece for the front of the tank to stay together, or else it just won't, which is kind of annoying, especially since it's like a piece that could probably be easily thrown away, especially where it's stored in the packaging. So
didn't that almost happen to Brent?
Yeah. I was the one that pointed out to him that there's a shield, and it was like, what shield? The one that
I remember I saw that exchange, and I was like, oh no, did he throw away his?
Yeah. He threw the box away, but he was able to recover it and found it. And I mean, that piece definitely does help, like, bring the front of it together, but it's annoying that it feels like you have to have it or it won't, like, connect. Cheetor is pretty nice. Will say, visually he's definitely a bit weird, mostly because the kibble shoulder pads that he ends up with are just not in the right place compared to the show model, and I don't know. It does annoy me, especially since it does get in the way of articulation a bit. Like, you can work around it a bit, but it's like, it's not perfect, but you know what? For what it is, I do like it. I do certainly like it. Paleotrex, awesome. Like, so awesome.
He's fantastic.
Oh, yes. I have been meaning to post pictures, but like I found like basically a Slenderman mode for him, and I'm just like, this is so much cooler than his actual robot mode.
I found Vertebrae. She was underneath.
Where was she?
She was underneath the chair I'm sitting in.
Nice.
Oh, that's scary.
I don't know when
Is it
she.
like a roll? Was it a rolling chair?
No, it's a recliner.
Oh, that's less scary.
Yeah.
Because like I've had stuff end up under my rolling chair, and I've accidentally rolled over it and broken it before. So
Yeah.
I'm very careful now to keep my chair area clear.
But yeah, Paleotrex. I've posted one picture of one double Paleotrex that I made that was more symmetrical. The current one, the current configuration I have, because I ended up with two, because I had pre-ordered the deluxes in two different places, and Paleotrex it was the only one who came in through Amazon, and then the rest of them came in through Target, and I forgot to, or I didn't cancel Paleotrex, but then I was like, two might be fine, and then I made it's up on my Twitter at Logos Minor where it's more symmetrical and everything. And then the one that I have right now is more like the base, like Paleotrex robot mode, and then the like official armor piece configurations for the different parts on it, and it looks fine.
Yeah.
I love all of the like official, like the axe and the sword configurations for him are great. The hips and the like upper legs, those are kind of annoying to like figure out what to do with. Or the legs, there's no really upper legs. Like the instructions use them on Warpath as like cannons over the shoulder, which I mean kind of works.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of a missed opportunity. Like, I know it'd be weird because then you'd have a separate like a crotch piece just hanging out by itself, but I think it'd be neat if like you're able to take the thighs and use those as like shoulder pads.
Yeah, I think yeah, doing that and then maybe having something on the back of the, like maybe having it so that the crotch piece and the chest plate that forms the shield, if those two plug together and then we're the shield, like I think that'd be fine.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you talk about any?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be mad to have this mold twice or back probably three times if it that selects transmutate is in fact a Paleotrex retool.
Yeah, that'll. Yeah, that solves, and that way you have three versions of it in three different colors, and then you can come out with like really colorful like combos.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be so colorful.
Which
dinosaurs?
Since I was gone, which deluxe were you talking about first? Or I'm assuming it was the deluxe.
Warpath.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, I'm just annoyed because, at least on my copy, it feels like you need that shield panel to hold the front in, or else it's just not going to hold.
Mine's not like that.
Okay, maybe mine's just loose, or I'm not tabbing it at all the way or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're just doing it wrong.
Or it's a lemon.
True.
A
maybe.
red lemon.
Yeah. I mean, it does make it very solid in the front, but I'm just like, it kind of like there's a bit of a noticeable gap. It's hard to like keep it together when I don't have that panel in, but whatever. And then I never talked about Black Arachnia. Best of the wave by far.
Every time.
Best figure overall.
Best deluxe.
The deluxes.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say if it's for like any size class, I've seen that Black Arachnia. It looks good, but I still have some words I'd have to say to you.
No,
yeah, I meant
Ratchet, Black Arachnia, Megatron. I can't speak about the Voyagers because I don't have Cyclonus yet, but and I don't have Optimus, so I guess. But I think Rat Trap's probably better than Core Optimus.
Well, Core Optimus
Def-
just doesn't look good. Is the
I
thing?
think most things are better than Core Optimus.
I mean, apparently he's a pretty serviceable, like, tiny Optimus in hand, but he doesn't look great. But Black Arachnia...
No, as someone who has the Magic Square, I'm good.
Well, yeah, but Magic Square is how much?
I don't know, like $50, but it
Right.
comes with a trailer.
Right, Core Optimus is 10.
Yeah.
I know. I know it's apples to oranges, but
Right.
they're both still fruit. So
Okay. Yeah, Black Arachnia, best deluxe of the wave. Transforming her is magic. Cause you go through the motions and then you're like, how the hell?
that's how I feel about Megatron.
Yeah, no, it's that same, a very similar, feeling, in my opinion, of Black Arachnia, Megatron, and, Studio Series Rodimus. Or, Hot Rod.
Oh yeah.
Hot Rod.
I have that Hot Rod on the way. I'm so excited to find it.
All three of them.
Any studio series.
All three of them have the same, because Jared, I would imagine, because he has it, would be able to say this similar thing, is basically you go through the steps to transform it, and then you finish, and you're like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
You kind of understand where everything goes, but even then, like at the very end, you get this kind of magical moment of, oh my god, this thing just turned into
Hot
goddamn
Rod's
T-Rex.
Hot Rod's transformation is honestly, unpeg the torso, fold away the head, flip the arms around, flip the backpack around, flip the legs inside out, boom, you have a car.
Well, when
I'm
you
so
say
excited
it
I get
like
paid
that,
Friday. I'm gonna go get one.
There are honestly not that many transformation steps, and
No.
like the rear of his vehicle mode is pretty much just his legs. Like you flip his legs inside out, and you made the back of his vehicle mode. It's crazy.
Yeah.
they took the kind of third-party magic that a lot of Legends companies were using, and then just applied that to an actual.
They're being
mainline
very
figure.
smart. Yeah, they're being very smart with how they're doing him, and he honestly is
Like,
he's probably one of the best Voyagers they've made in like forever.
Yeah.
yeah, hearing you talk about those legs immediately, just because I have them in front of me, made me go to like the New Age, like Ironhide Ratchet mold, where basically like the entire side of the van folds up into the shin and lower leg area, the shin and the calf area. It's that same kind of magic, but at, like on a mainline figure.
And then going one size class up for the magic. Then we have how many of us have Megatron? Jared, Zeus,
I
me,
do.
Michael.
I do.
I don't.
I think
I have
John's
nothing
the only
from
one who
Kingdom.
doesn't.
I don't have anything from Kingdom, sadly.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
Megatron's
you'll get there.
almost perfect.
It's incredible. Like I was saying on Twitter, if he had come in literally like 2 days before he arrived at my house, he would have been my toy of the year for 2020.
Because when I saw these, like when I originally saw the pictures for him, I didn't like. Part of it was like being like a G1er about Beast Wars and being like, they changed the colors on his shoulders, and part of it is getting him in hand and understanding why, because he transforms kind of like the opposite way that the original Beast Wars toy does. In the fact that, you know how his shoulders are basically the bottom of his,
T-Rex mode.
like the belly of his T-Rex mode. So basically...
On the original, it was the top, right?
Right. So basically, your way you're transforming him is basically you're turning him upside down and then putting his legs somewhere different.
Yeah, it's
Like-
so cool.
Like that's what you're doing. He turns upside down and his legs go like to the side. The original was, you folded his arms and his legs basically to his sides, clamped up his backpack around him, and then his legs went down. Like he transforms upside down compared to the original toy. And when I was first transforming him, I was like, this is amazing, because they got pretty much, it's like mostly the same, like where everything ends up, at least shape wise, but they did the transformation completely different. And because I know a lot of people are kind of like iffy on the rubber like parts. I've kind of accepted that this toy probably has a limited lifespan, but I'm going to enjoy him while he exists, because that rubbery like texture for his beast mode, I think I described.
Feels like hide.
It feels like you're wrapping him up in dino flesh, and it's amazing.
It's so cool.
I'd like if his tail weapon could be removable, considering the fact that they molded his hand or his whole arm.
Yes.
Yes.
Or if at least the arm had the paint apps that the box art has. Like, the box art suggested that should be painted, and that's the one thing I'm kind of annoyed about. But
But yeah, with the black on there,
he's just
that's actually
so
pretty good. It wouldn't be too hard to get in there with the paint.
no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. But even then, like, just base
Like a
stuff.
super minor detail though, he still looks incredible.
And
Also, like, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just say, like, the other thing is that he just has heft to him compared to.
Yeah, like there's so much weight to him. Like, I'm just gonna grab Double Dealer because that's the other like most hefty leader that we've had in a while, and he feels like so light in comparison to Megatron.
Right.
There's so much weight to Megatron. It feels like what a leader should feel like.
He's very substantial, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, because okay, so Megatron is he one per case?
I have no idea.
I think he's well. I think are the leaders one or two or three? I can't remember. But anyways, like
leader cases, it's one of each.
One of each. So he's being repacked with Magnus, so he'll be available for a while, and then I'm assuming it'll be then Magnus and Galvatron. I hope, because if they do Optimus and Galvatron, I'll be like, what?
That would be like the dumbest decision, because that would be now your like fourth shot at getting that Optimus.
Yep.
Excluding the Walmart redeco, which is like a fifth shot almost.
But people like pick him up if you can. Also, I like the fact that his toenails, they're a separate piece, because the bottom of his feet are molded.
It's like his legs look like they're just bones wrapped in dinosaur hide.
Yeah. So when like you have to like move his legs in a way that kind of reveals bits that the skin doesn't cover, it's just like, oh, hey, it's the bone.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was going to bring up earlier is, like, in my opinion, he has the best looking T-Rex mode of any Beast Wars Megatron. Like, I genuinely think it looks better than the Masterpiece. Not in terms of, like, you know, general panels or anything, but I mean, like, the way that the head looks. He looks the most like a T-Rex to me out of any of them.
Well, that's what they were going for.
Well,
with
yeah.
Megatron,
And that's why I like it more than
was the cartoon.
Yeah, that's why I like it more, I think, than the cartoon model, because the cartoon model looked kind of goofy to me. But this looks, like, really, really good, even though he's a big purple dinosaur.
He's tremendous. Pipes, are you getting him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Ever since Amazon canceled my Autobot 2-pack of Prowl and Ironhide, I've been, like, hesitant to pre-order anything. So I'm kind of just going to wait till I see him.
Rumor has it that at the beginning of February, GameStops are getting Kingdom.
Like, in store?
In store, apparently.
Ooh. I
Like,
wish I still had a GameStop in walking distance. Because, like, there used to be one. It's not like a short walk, but it's one that I could have walked to, but that one closed down.
Between
now,
that,
if I want to go to.
Between that and then being in the first two waves, you should be able to get, like, plenty opportunity. Also, like, Wave 1, some stores are going to always have Wave 1. So, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't have doubt that I'm not gonna see him because I know I will at some point, but I'm just not really gonna
unless
pre-order him or.
unless Beast Wars is secretly like the next hit, I don't expect him to be that difficult to find. Apparently, some places Hot Rod is shelf forming, which is crazy.
That's wild.
Saw someone's store had like 6 or 7 Hot Rods and 3. What? Hello?
What were you... Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I think I was losing signal a bit and I couldn't hear. It was like coming in and out a bunch.
I said that
Right.
someone posted a picture and their store had 6 Hot Rods.
Oh, dang!
Yeah.
I'd take one of them.
Is everyone else still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. But yeah, Megatron's amazing. Black Arachne is amazing, although be careful with her the tab underneath her breasts.
Yeah.
Hot Rod is also amazing.
Yes.
And for me, in person, I'm not bothered by the parts that are like the joints that are yellow. Jared, how do you feel about them?
I don't mind them one bit. Like, he is pretty much like, if any like company were to like blow this up into like masterpiece scale, I'm gonna buy it instantly because it is that good.
They've solved the problem, so all they have to do is take this and make it make it masterpiece sized, and maybe add like the one criticism I would have, and it's a super nitpicky thing, is that there's at the rear of his vehicle mode, there are these like orange details, like these little caps that are on the cartoon model of his car that are missing. Grand scheme, I don't really give a shit. Like, it's fine, he's perfect. But those are things where I'm like,
Button on Megatron's fusion cannon. You love it when it's there, but it's not a big deal when it's not.
kind of. I like that it's on the Earthrise one. It just needs to be red, but it's on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say though, for my hot rod, this is not a deal breaker or anything like that, but his right arm out of the box, I had to like shave down like a tab because it kind of like soft thoops into place for alt mode, kind of. And for me, the thoop was like either like locked in like straight down or like just like splayed out way too much to be like just a casual pose. So I just shaved it down a little bit and it's perfect now. But like just one like minor little thing that minor inconvenience that really didn't bother me after I had to do it.
It would have been nice if they figured out where to put the Matrix, but it doesn't matter. You can just hold it.
They'll figure it out for Rodimus. That's
Yeah.
Right. They'll give
One thing
Rodimus
that's
the
hilarious.
Yeah.
One thing that's good. One thing that's hilarious that I've noticed, Hot Rod's Matrix has the port like behind it. The same with Optimus. But you can't put any blast effects in it. The blast effects will just fall right out. But for Optimus, it fits in perfectly.
Let me see. I have my Rodimus right here, so let me check to see if that's true for mine.
I'm actually, if I could find a blast effect, I might check with my Shattered Glass Optimus real quick.
No, yeah.
I think the Matrix on my GT Prime is stuck because I've never like one side will come out, but the other side won't, and I'm not gonna like pry because I don't want to break it.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
which one are you talking about?
the Netflix
Yeah,
one.
Matrix on GT Prime or
Oh.
Netflix Prime.
The one that it's actually it feels terrifying the first time, but if you pull it out by the side that's looser, it'll come out with just a little bit of force. I can't find any blast effects. I'm a mess right now.
I don't have any other blast. Jared, by just curiosity, which blast effect did you try?
The one like one of the pieces that came with Jetfire.
Okay, because I used I just wanted to make sure we weren't using the same piece. I used one that came with a sound barrier, and yeah, that Matrix can't hold. At least mine can't hold one either. That's weird.
I grabbed. I just found the one that came with Skylinks. I'm gonna try this real quick.
All right.
It's a little bit loose, but it still holds.
Right.
On the
No,
shattered glass.
mine. Yeah. It's very possible that Hot Rod's Matrix for some reason can't hold blast effects. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I'll find out on Friday.
Right. We have an N of 2 at the moment. We need. You'll increase our sample size to 3.
Yeah.
Um.
I'll have to ask Eric if same thing for him, because he went to my Target not long after I got my Hot Rod, because I got Hot Rod and Scourge, because they literally must have put like 2 or 3 cases out at the same time, because there was like 2 or 3 Scourges and the rest were Hot Rods.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up both, and at the time Eric got there, it was just like Hot Rods left. The other Scourges were taken. But yeah, I'll have to ask Eric next time I get a chance if the Matrix that came with his Hot Rod can hold blast effects. Excuse me.
So I didn't think Scourge was that great. He's like, he looks great, but I don't like the articulation's not that fantastic. But you seemed to like him pretty much. What happened?
I was gonna wonder, like, what was I forgot what you said. Like, what was wrong with the articulation?
My main thing was that just like compared to a lot of the other modern figures, his range of articulation is kind of limited, and then his thigh swivels pretty much don't work.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, it's like you start to move it and then it just like stoops to almost like completely outward. And yeah, it's just nothing greatest. But I personally, other than that, he's all right. He's a Scourge. He transforms like a Scourge, basically. Accidentally ripped his head off. It was the first transformation.
That's
Thought I
great.
broke him.
That's not nice.
Wow, so he's a headmaster now then.
I'm excited to get Scourge. I'm definitely not excited for Kingdom Cyclonus, and I'm probably just gonna use the Combiner Wars one I have.
You're the second person I've talked to who said that.
Okay,
And
I know it's
that's-
his head,
that's
but
weird.
his shoulders, I think it's because his head looks too tall, but I feel like his shoulders sit too low. Like, I'm looking at the universe one, and it's fine because I like how the shoulders sit, but I think they sit too low. He always looks stumpy, and his arms look like off to me. I don't know. I'm just
It
not.
depends on the way he's posed. I've seen some pictures of him that look bad. I've seen some that look fantastic.
I know on Michael's
depends
Instagram,
on-
I saw the pictures he posted of Cyclonus. I was like, oh, those look good. But then also, like, I've seen others where I hate it. And I don't want to
it really
spend
just
the money
comes
and
down
then
to the
hate it.
pose.
And
I think
be
yeah.
stuck with it.
I think it comes down to like how people pose it, and then the other thing was like, I guess when you see it in person, you might be able to decide. The other thing is, and I keep seeing this, people aren't putting his wing aren't configuring his wings right on the back of his shoulders. They're leaving them like they're not folding them in on some of the hinges, so they look way wider, like out than they should be. It's something I noticed on some people's pictures, and I was just like, you guys aren't doing it right.
Plus, probably some people are doing the knees wrong.
Oh yeah. Lots of people have ones that look very stumpy, and then other people, it's like, oh yeah, he's like the tallest figure in the world. And it's like, oh.
It really does just come down to posing.
I want more people to get Scourge, and I want someone to actually like use the instructions, because Scourge has 2 different vehicle modes in the instructions.
Really?
Oh,
This keeps happening. There's a separate transformation for his vehicle mode to do the pop out head. Like his vehicle mode is put together with a bunch of like different armatures. There's a separate configuration where you basically raise the panel that like his head's resting on and tab it into separate tabs, and his head and parts of his vehicle mode sit higher. It's in the instructions. It's crazy. I never did it because... What?
I'm gonna have to try because I actually have his box nearby.
No, yeah. Look in the instructions and tell me that I'm not crazy, because now I kind of feel like I am.
Okay, I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna grab the box. Be back in like 30 seconds.
Okay, but yeah, because
Someone time them quick.
the only reason why I never did it was because mine, I don't know if it's just the plastic tolerances on mine or whatever, but I noticed a lot of stressing when I first transformed him, so I don't really want to transform him again. I'm kind of hoping that when I eventually get, like, my pre-orders in, there are enough, like, batches after the first batch that the plastic tolerances might be a little better, because I'm one of the weird people who thinks that, like, the later in production, maybe the better they are. I think I hear Jared flipping.
Yep, and you are correct. I didn't even see that.
Right, no, that's why. People are missing it because no one's opening the damn instructions.
Quickly, do the head mode, and then send us a picture.
Alright. Doing it.
Jared's gonna have breaking news. We'll share it, and we'll be like, yeah, so Scourge has 2 vehicle modes. Scourge is a triple changer.
Oh, that's right. Does that mean he's the first triple changer in Studio Series?
The Constructicons.
Oh yeah, I guess that counts.
Scourge isn't real. I mean, it's like Scourge's other vehicle mode is his head sits higher.
Yeah, he's the triple changer in the same way that Siege Optimus was a triple changer.
Right. Yeah, pretty. I mean that's kind of. I mean, I also, what is it? I have the Selects coordinate spin out pack.
Oh, is that the one where one of their heads was covered in glue?
That was yeah. I had to order 2 because the first one was bad, and then like I saw that, and then I just went on Pulse, ordered a second one, and then when I was like looking at stuff, I realized I had happened to catch the restock that then went out of stock. Like, I just looked at Pulse, and they had restocked him, because people were like, yes, Gordon Spinout sold out. I'm like, what? And then people were like, damn, I missed the restock. And I was like, what the hell? How did I manage that? But yeah, my second...
Pure luck.
My second set is fine. My first set, I no longer have the cord, and I have to get rid of the Spinout.
I might be interested in that spin out.
Alright, he's got glue on his head, but you might be able to get it off.
I mean, I am the toy surgeon, so...
Yeah, I tried,
but
my goof off did not succeed, and I don't want to use it too...
You're probably going to need something stronger than that, because goof off, to my knowledge, is basically just, like, oil.
I have the spray one that, like, if you use it too much, it starts actually, like, forming abrasions.
Oh, that might have, like, some acetone or something in it.
No, yeah, it's strong, so that's why I was like, this is, like, some of the strongest stuff I have.
Right, because the stuff I have it's just oil, but it smells like orange.
Yeah, no, I have the goof off spray.
No, I would go at it with, like, some alcohol. That's usually what works best in my experience. Or, like, slightly diluted nail polish remover.
That was my... I have 75%, though. That's the only problem.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
I've
not...
got 91.
Yeah.
I got 91 back when Siege came out, and I've been holding on to it since.
I'll let you potentially destroy him.
Excellent.
Alright. This podcast is mostly me selling off my duds. I also, I don't know if any of you caught when I tweeted about how I missed, how I was regretting missing, or not buying more of the Prid Viacons when Five Below had them.
I didn't see that.
Okay, well, I tweeted that, and then I went on eBay, and someone had a bunch of Prid Viacons, and if you bought more than 3 of them, they then became 15 a piece, which for an old deluxe is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So I ordered 3 Prid I ordered 3 of them.
Wow. Nice.
So now I have 4 Prid Viacons, and I'm like, that's a good number. 4 of them, and then the Jet Viacon from the 10th anniversary set that I'm afraid to open.
Why are you afraid to open it?
Because modern Hasbro plastic and those molds apparently don't mix that well. So
It's like what happened with when they reissued that Red Optimus, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not as like sturdy as the stuff that they used back then.
It's not as sturdy, and the molds are degraded because both of those molds have been rerun tons of times.
Right.
So lots of people had issues with breakdown, like just either being broken out of the box or breaking after the first transformation, and similar with the Viacon, especially because the Prime RID Viacons have a lot of load-bearing clear plastic hinges. So,
Ooh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I kind of want to hope that I find a quote-unquote vintage Air Viacon for cheaper, or the honestly, I think I'd be cool with finding the Transformers Adventure Ground Viacon Commander, the silver Viacon, because then having a squad of 4 with a leading silver one would be pretty dope. All right, Jared. Oh, yeah. So see, yeah, it's on a more elevated thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, the tabs that
That's
usually
amazing.
Yeah, the tabs that tab into the like side of the boat now tab, or like no, they're actually different tabs. They tab into the like side thin things. But yep, it's Scourge with his head rising up.
You should
looks
That's fantastic.
You should tweet that so we can retweet it from the Steel City Bots account, and then like talk about how there's a whole the instructions dedicate steps specifically so you can pop his head up higher. Because I've heard a lot of people complain that it's like, oh, for his pop out head mode, all you do is lift down the face cover.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was doing, but like
that's what everyone's doing because no one's reading the damn instructions.
Actually, I used the instructions to transform him, but I to transform part of him, and then I was like, okay, so you just flip in the rest, and then it's like, okay, that's it.
No, yeah, same with me. So I did I don't know why I looked at the instruction booklet and I was like, wait a minute, there's a whole other set of transformation steps here. What? And then I was like, oh, it's to pop out his head. So yeah.
Yeah, after we're done recording, I'm gonna take a bit of a better picture.
Okay.
And then yeah, I'll tweet it.
All right. I don't know if anyone else has anything else they want to talk about.
I do.
I have like one more thing that I would like to talk about, kind of.
Okay.
Wow.
I have two things and I'll be very quick.
All right, you go then.
I did get Earthrise Thrust yesterday in the mail.
Mm.
I'm not. Yeah, and I mean, we've gotten the secret mold how many times now? But it's nice with the wings, especially how you can either pose them lower, like kind of the show model suggests, or if you want to go like how the Generations toy did with the up wings, you've got that. Biggest annoyance to me: why didn't they paint the nose cone? Why did they paint the nose cone?
I don't know. I don't know why it's not. I mean, it's easy enough to fix yourself, but it is one of those things where I do notice that every time I see vehicle mode shots, I'm just, or before I got him, and I was just like, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, he's good. He's good. And it's nice I feel that way about him, especially since I've had the Generations Thrust since it came out in 2010.
Ooh, I should take a picture of him next to Drift.
Oh, yeah.
And it's be like, what happened? Like, you don't have a new toy yet. What happened?
Yeah. Yeah. And then just today I got Gigawatt in.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
It is very good. The paint, the minor paint details are superb. They even wrote the entirety of the Mr. Fusion logo on the Mr. Fusion engine part.
Be careful with potential paint chipping.
Oh yeah, I can absolutely imagine. I'm doing my best to be careful with that. But for now, all of the paint deals are on their great. Well, okay, there's a little bit of chipping right where the gull wing doors come out, which is kind of annoying since you have to move them out like you would open the doors anyway for the transformation. So that's a bit unfortunate. Love the gun. I do like that engine piece and how you can kind of attach it, but using that tiny post in there, it doesn't feel like it stays on too securely. I feel like I'm going to lose it if I not careful.
I feel like I've read stuff on like TFW where people have like kind of figured out what the best way to like make sure it doesn't come out, but I haven't really. I didn't open mine. I like him and Ectotron in the like retro packaging, so I think I might just not open any of my crossovers when I get them, but
that's all up to you. The only thing of particular note that I'm not a fan of with Gigawatt is the lightning rod. Because it's a soft plastic, and for whatever reason, how it's stored in the packaging just instantly warps it.
Yeah.
So it comes out of the package deformed. So I mean, it's a thing you can take a hairdryer to and whatnot, but still, it's kind of annoying.
It's also just like entirely pointless.
It's a movie reference.
It's to recreate the scene.
Though I will say I would very likely preferred replacing that for Marty's skateboard, especially since we know now it transforms into a robot thanks to the comics.
That would have been cool. I haven't read the comic, but that sounds
especially
cool.
Since that body type is directly based off the Minicon grinder from Armada.
That's what I was thinking. That was like immediately where my head went. There was it was to the Armada guy.
Yeah, release skills, and release just more Minicons. Come on, Hasbro, I know you can do it. Or heck, just re-release the Armada version in new colors. And that's all I got.
I feel like no one really talked that much about Primal, which is one of the like two things that I was going to talk about. So.
Yeah. I don't have Primal yet, so I can't say much.
Miguel, I know you have Primal.
Yep.
Right?
He's amazing.
Yeah. He is so good. He's so much fun.
His painted thighs scare me, and I'm saddened by them.
Yeah. They're a little scary. I've gotten over it because it's mostly like just on the most inner part that it's happening with mine, and you don't really see it unless you go out of your way to look for it.
I've figured out how to manipulate him in a way where it doesn't scrape. Although when I like opened him out of the package, I looked at him and I'm like, all right, there are those already scraping. So I like touched that up, and I'm pretty okay now. My main issue with him is mostly the fact that like the like prying apart his torso to get out his like to either flip his head from robot to the ape one or to flip the shoulder rockets out is a little like scary.
The way that I found that's easiest to do it is to like get the arms going forward.
Yep.
And kind of swing out those butterfly joints and then just squeeze.
That's the same thing I do, and it's getting easier, but that's one thing that was a little annoying.
No, my biggest gripe with the figure, other than like the hip balls that I've already repainted, is just that I wish the butterfly joints kind of tabbed in like they do on the Masterpiece. I feel like that would have made the figure feel more secure. But like looking at it, I can kind of understand why they couldn't do that. It's just something that I would have liked. But he is, like, a lot of fun. I feel like I only have about half of the Beast stuff that's come out so far. Or, like, just under half, I guess. but I feel like Hasbro's been knocking it out with like the Beast Wars figures. So
the
far, like,
the
knocking it out of the
beast the beast stuff feels so good, and then you have Warpath, who feels like an Earthrise toy, like
park.
like it's one of those things where depending on how things go, um, Kingdom Beast Wars figures and Studio Series 86 are gonna almost feel like like two different levels of toy compared to, at the very least, all of the Earth Kingdom stuff, because I mean we're getting Magnus, who's a Siege toy, Inferno, who's an Earthrise toy. Warpath feels like an Earthrise toy in like the kind of complexity and not the greatest like quality control feel to it. Meanwhile, the Beast Wars stuff feels like a whole new breed. So it's one of those things where I'm like, Kingdom's gonna feel like almost two completely different toy lines. And
yeah, no, Kingdom is like Kingdom on the Beast Wars front is like exactly what I would have wanted from a Beast Wars update, which is that it's like a modern reimagining without reinventing the wheel.
right, and the fact that they're sticking with the philosophy of the original toy line, where it's basically like, oh, like they're robots who turn into toys of animals, versus like Masterpiece, where it's like, oh, it's the CG model turning into the CG model.
Yeah, which was a thing for me that I originally thought was going to be annoying. Like, when the first pictures came out of Optimus Primal, I thought I wasn't going to like him because I was bothered by, like, the super textured fur. But in hand, it looks incredible. It does look like a gorilla that turned into a robot.
And it works.
It's super cool to me.
On that front, for people who don't have the nostalgia, it works. But then for me, like, I remember I tweeted something about this. My nostalgia for like season 1 Beast Wars figures is the fact that they were like they had the textured fur and everything like the original stuff did. Maybe I would have liked if some of the figures had maybe a bit more like the heads for the beast modes were accurate to the CG models. I wouldn't be, or a little bit more accurate. I wouldn't be too hung up about that. But overall, like what they've done for all of the Beast figures so far, they've knocked it out of the park.
The Beast Wars stuff genuinely is like the most excited I've been for Transformers, and probably since like Titan's Return, honestly.
I just like whatever they're gonna do, because Dinobot will be great. Dinobot and Ares look good. I'm excited to see Rhinox. Tigatron.
Rhinox is going to be incredible. I can tell already.
If they hit the same magic with Black Arachnia, or from Black Arachnia with Scorponok, it'll be great. Waspinator also, like, I hope they do good with Waspinator.
No, with Rhinox, I know for sure it's going to be great though, because they've got like a fantastic figure that came out, like 7 years ago now, that they can essentially work off of. 8. Oh, that's right. That mine was right. It's Thrilling 30, so I always think, oh, it's the 2014 line, but no, that one was in 2013. Yeah. So they've got like that. It's an 8-year-old figure, but it's one that I think still holds up. I think it's a really good, like, Beast Wars figure. And so they have that to work off of already and to update and modernize and improve on. I think Rhinox could end up being like one of the best of the line.
The apparently his guns don't spin.
Worst toy ever. I will not be buying Rhinox.
F-.
And his, what is it? Guns don't. The one thing I read was guns don't spin. His chest is fake.
Chest is fake. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly,
like,
if they're going show accurate, I was expecting the chest to be fake.
Like, as long as he has the lips, it'll already be like great.
Lips and maximal symbols tattooed on his head. Those are the two things I need.
Yes. Those are the two things he needs.
If it's he doesn't have the chain guns of Doom, I have that toy twice, because I have the Thrilling 30 and then I have the Legends one, so I can give him someone's guns.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that it?
I have like one other thing to
Okay.
talk about.
Okay.
So I got the Shattered Glass Select set, which
Ooh.
is about. Hold on, I have to do math now. It's about 60% fantastic.
It's screwed up that you have to pay $40 or is it 40 or is it 50?
50.
It was 50.
It's screwed up that they make you pay the same price as the retail Optimus, and you still just get a beautiful like Optimus Prime, and then another heap of garbage, but it's a less fun heap of garbage.
No,
Wow.
No, like, I opened it up. I immediately went for the Optimus. I was like, I'm probably not even going to take the Ratchet out of the packaging. I messed with the Optimus for about an hour because it's the Earthrise mold and it's incredible, and now it's in purple and he's perfect. And then I thought, I'll give Ratchet a chance. If I don't like it, I'll sell it. I despise this figure. The Earthrise... Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry, my dog wanted to go to bed. The Earthrise Ratchet Ironhide mold is just... It's terrible. It takes, like, all of the flaws that the Siege mold had, but it has, like, none of the redeeming qualities, at least for me. And then throw on top of that the roof rack shield, which just looks stupid, and I can't even get to sit in right. And it's genuinely the worst figure of the whole line. Like, I can't... I'm so glad I found someone to buy it off of me, because I can't even stand to look at him.
I agree. I hate Earthrise Ratchet.
Yeah. So he's going to be out of here. That I've more or less, once I've sold him off, I've covered half the cost of the set, and so I'm satisfied with that. Because Earthrise, again, the Shattered Glass Optimus is beautiful. He's perfect. Absolutely no complaints about him. One detail that I really appreciate is that they put his Autobot symbol on the opposite shoulder. I kind of wish they'd remolded it so it was flat, because you kind of lose it in some of the sculpted detail, but I think that's just a kind of neat little touch. It's something that most people probably wouldn't notice, but I picked up on it immediately, and I thought it was like the coolest thing. I do wish he had come with the trailer instead of the evil dentist, which is what I've been calling the Ratchet, because I think it was Arctic Storm on Twitter pointed out to me that he looks like he's just a tube of toothpaste. It's like that same kind of minty green.
I can see it.
Yeah. So, like, getting the trailer, even though I don't really care that much about the trailer, I've already got 2 of the trailer, and I don't know what to do with them. I would have preferred that over the evil dentist. That's all I've got to say. So if anyone has other things they want to talk about.
I think Jared had one more thing he wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So basically for Christmas, I got a slew of like Amazon gift cards from my parents because they knew I collect but don't know what I actually want. And one of the things I got with the gift cards was the Flame Toys model kit for Devastator, and it was a fun build. I haven't gotten any of the Flame Toys stuff since I got their Nemesis Prime for IDW. And I was surprised with how intricate it was for the build for Devastator, even though it's basically the same exact thing whenever you get further down to it. But yeah, he looks really good. I have since put the stickers on him because I took a bunch of pictures without the stickers, and thankfully the sticker sheet wasn't terrible. I did have a few moments where the paper underneath the adhesive came up with so there was no like adhesive, but I was able to fix it real fast. But overall, it's a really nice set, really nice and posable. Sorry, and yeah, just really fun. My cat decided to try to have some fun and help me, but didn't really do much, thankfully. But yeah, if you build Gundams and stuff like that, I'm sure you'll be able to build it, no problem. But for me, someone that rarely builds those model kits, it took me about 3 or 4 hours, give or take. But the end result is worth it.
I really enjoy Flame Toys model kits. I got their the Bug Bite, and I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought about getting their Bug Bite, decided not to, and yeah, and Devastator, he's bigger than all the other ones, but he's not obviously scale with all the other ones for a
Yeah.
combiner. It'd be
I
cool
love the
though, but it would,
proportions.
yeah, it'd be cool if he was. However, that would cost. I don't even want to think about that price. It'd be cool if they made a like G2 yellow colored Devastator model kit a try.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Maybe they'll do it at some point. Yeah, that was all I really wanted to talk about.
Cool.
I just remembered, Zeus. I gotta send you the Bug Bite stickers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You still in for them?
I'm kind of debating it. I like send them anyways, but I don't know if I'll end up using them either because the look of Bug Bite without the tattoos has actually kind of grown on me a lot. I like the clean look. I don't know.
I'll send you. They're at my dad's house, so I gotta wait a little bit
yeah.
till I can go back and get
It'll
them.
be like a break in case. Yeah, it'll just be like a break in case of emergency situation if I ever feel like he needs the tattoos. But yeah, that
was
Were they stickers or were they water slides?
They're water slides, but
how easy are water slides to remove in the event that like Zeus? What if like you panic and you're like, no, I need.
I think what you do is that like you get like a Q-tip, get it wet, and you can start sliding it off the sheet, and you put it where, and then like you can just readjust it, and then you gotta press the water out, and then you're good.
No, I'm saying like, no, but I'm saying like, what if he wants to remove them from Bug Bite?
Oh, then I guess you could just peel them. Well, I don't know.
If I don't seal it, then yeah, peel it.
Okay.
But if they're sealed, you kind of gotta scrape at it with like a toothpick.
Or get a new Bug Bite.
Huh?
Like I'm sure Bug Bite would look good, but I just don't want to go through the effort of putting on water slides. So like I'm sure Toy Hacks will do something, and I'll probably do that.
No,
But
I've gotten super on the fence about it because I actually like the look of the plain white Bug Bite a lot more than I thought I would.
If anything, I think repro labels might do the tribal tattoos, and then that's also easier to like apply and remove.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like I don't mind doing water slide decals as long as they're not like a super thin sheet because those have a tendency to double over on themselves and get wrinkled. And they're damn near impossible to unwrinkle.
It's cool that they used water slides for those, but at the same time, it's like, why? Like
every other set in the line uses just regular like foil back stickers.
Right. So
Bug Bite comes with regular foil stickers, like the Decepticon badge, and there's some like color breakup stickers.
That's even more confusing.
It's almost to the point where I'm almost like maybe you should have just charged maybe a little more for the kit and just tampoed them. Because they do paint some of the pieces, right? I'm not dumb. Do they not?
Like I think sometimes they'll do the faces if they want them to be silver.
Yeah, like they could.
Yeah, like the eyes are painted on.
I mean,
the
I say that.
Bug Bite metallic red.
I say that, but then the Furai, was it Action? Is that what the pre-assembled ones are called?
Oh yeah, I hate that line.
$200 for Optimus Primal. It's crazy.
No, yeah, and those model kits aren't that big, and like I feel like they could do like if the model kits are typically around like 30 to 50, they could do that Primal for like maybe 70, considering like building it's already built, painting, all that stuff.
I mean,
it's not worth it.
Even then, it's a cool Primal design, and so far I don't think they've announced a model kit release of it.
I don't know if they will.
Like I think your only option to get the design is to order the $200 one, which is stupid.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I just think that Flame Toys' stuff is a little bit overpriced. I think their model kits are really fair, but like they're whatever their like super high end superposable line is, they're like 400, 500. Those things are tiny. Like,
And, right, it's one of those things where, like, especially in they're operating in a similar market to the 3A stuff, the 3 or the 3.0, the DLX stuff, and it's one of those things where I see the DLX stuff and it's like $150, $170 per DLX, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And then I forget that the Flames Toy stuff is like a different caliber, so I'll see like their Prime that they did, or like Tarn, and it's like $400, $500, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, like I get they have LEDs and stuff, and like it's a lot more extensive.
But
like,
so does
Optimus's chest entirely lights up, but it doesn't add up to the cost of 400 if they're smaller.
And
a lot of it is just hype, is the thing.
And I feel like, at least from what I've seen, I feel like the DLX stuff can take a bit more like rough and tumble compared to the like I look at the Flame Toys stuff, I get scared. I'm like, that thing's probably gonna break if I look at it wrong.
Yeah, like I almost went in. Like there was a point I was like, I'm gonna get the Optimus, the Megatron, the Fall. Those are the three I wanted. But, like the more I like kept looking at them, it's like I'm not gonna save up $1,200 for all three around that for something that's like tiny. You know,
that's like a year's worth.
Yeah.
That's like a year's worth of Transformers from the main line.
Money I made at my job a year.
Oh, I meant like a year's worth of no. I
mean, my hours still being in high school. My hours aren't.
I'm out of college and have a salary job, so
Ooh, I'm out of college.
Got a salary job.
I think a salary job would be a thing. People would be like, I feel like someone might come be like,
no, my job, it pays fine, but I don't want to get into that. The point is just that it's not worth it. They're just, I don't understand why. Like, I get there's a hype, but it can't be a $200, $300 increase from like you gotta imagine 3.0 is like a competitor for them.
Right? No,
it's the same market, even though it's different stuff.
Yeah, no, they're totally operating in the same like high end action figure officially licensed thing, and I just think that the DLX stuff is so much more bang for your buck, and at least from what I see, I am a bit more confident that they're good quality, because even the Furai model stuff, I sometimes feel like the ones that I've built, they feel a bit rickety.
Oh yeah, like Bug Bite's waist will fall off really easy. Like, I enjoyed the build.
I think the Optimus, the IDW Optimus, like, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but one of the rubber joint things cracked on mine, and now his legs are super
the polycaps?
Yeah.
That's, like, kind of common in Gundams I've seen. Some of mine do, some of mine don't. I think it's just up to chance, really.
Yeah, like, I have the, first, like, Optimus model kit that they made, and I don't even move that sucker because it'll just fall apart. I do have the 3A30 Deluxe Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie, and that sucker, like, it's still solid as a rock.
I have the Nemesis Prime. Although I didn't open him. I looked at him from the window and then I put him away. But
you haven't opened him?
No, part of it is I don't really. I kind of want to have a proper display to like put him on. Like for now, I'll leave him because like I don't really have the room for him. So I'm like I'll properly open and deal with him when I can.
I got you.
But I'm glad I got him though, because Pulse put him up on pre-order like a year and a half before he actually showed up to my house.
Really?
They put him up the summer of 2019 is when the pre-orders went up. Pre-orders went up and sold out super fast. And then he was like a convention exclusive in like Singapore or something.
I think so, yeah.
And then like there was like 100 that showed up in like Japan and 100 on their website. And it was this thing where I think I remember mentioning it that like around the time that I like Pulse kept delaying him, I was like, am I ever gonna get this thing? And then I looked it up, and it was like $500-$600 on the aftermarket on eBay, and I was like, there's no way I'm paying that much money, because I paid like under 200 for him. So I was like, if I get him, I get him. If I don't, I have to let it go. I cannot pay that much money on a single thing. That's like that isn't HasLab Unicron. And then finally, I think I sent a message to like Pulse customer service. I was like, I just want to know whether or not this item is going to be in stock or if it's going to be delayed again. And then the person on the other end was like, yeah, I'll contact our warehouse team. And she was like, no, yeah, they should be shipping out today. And then I got the shipping notification like the next day.
Oh wow.
And it was one of those things where I was like, Pulse, like the 2 times that I've contacted Pulse customer service, they've been phenomenal. And then every time I read someone's experiences with them, I'm like, why do I keep getting the good people?
I contacted them once and I got good.
All right, so maybe they just like us. They know about us.
Yeah.
Maybe people just have too high standards for customer service.
Maybe that too.
That's true.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, I guess I constitute a
Jerks.
good experience as being they help me.
Or some people constitute it, and well, I guess some people constitute it as like, I complained and I got my thing for free and an extra. Like what? Someone complained about their thrust. They got a full refund for their thrust. They got to keep their thrust, and they got a 15% off coupon.
Dang.
Really?
Damn.
I'm gonna start doing that. My Netflix Prime has a somewhat loose head. Give me that $40 back.
I found one where the head had fallen off in the package, and at first I thought someone stole it, but then I rattled the package and it was like flailing about. It was funny. I should have bought it for posterity.
Sure.
But yeah, that's been this episode, I think. Unless anyone has
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I
Okay.
think that's the episode.
all right, yeah,
That's
we
the episode.
we're hopefully the world stays in one piece by the next time we record. Hopefully some more stuff gets revealed officially, ideally, but if not, I mean, we'll still talk about it as long as there's pictures. Hopefully all of you people out there are staying safe, because the coronavirus is still a thing.
Yes.
Hopefully, if you pre-ordered these or you're safely like heading out and you happen to find Kingdom or Studio Series 86, you enjoy them. No QC issues. Hopefully, the deluxes start becoming more plentiful, because those suckers have only really shown up in Texas and in California, and I want Jazz.
Same. Like, I haven't pre-ordered on Pulse. Like, I pre-ordered Scourge, Hot Rod, and Jazz off Pulse. I've since canceled Scourge and Hot Rod because obviously I found them. But, like...
Yeah, because Pulse and
I
everywhere else is
pre-ordered Jazz.
they're all like, yeah, you'll get them in April. I'm like, I want Jazz now.
Yeah, and, like,
I'm gonna
for
go to
me,
Target
like,
on Saturday,
if I don't
so I'll
get
let you
Jazz
know.
now... Like, for me, if, like, I don't get Jazz now, like, I at least have that, like, almost like a backup save.
Right.
Like... Yeah, I want Jazz now, too.
All those damn people in Waco getting their Studio Series early.
Waco.
Yeah, no.
Nasty.
Almost every time I see like early in hand on eBay, because I'll that's usually how I check like where things are. eBay is usually a good place because scalpers are awful. A lot of the scalpers end up being either from Houston, Waco, or from LA.
I have family in
sense.
Waco.
There was a period of my
That's
life where I
pretty
went
rough.
through Waco almost every Saturday. Waco is a strange little place.
You'd be rolling in Studio Series Jazzes and Blurs.
Yeah, I'll
People
go
want-
on the hour car ride just for you.
People want
In
$50.
exchange, you can give me Legends Galvatron.
No.
There we go.
No, that's not an even trade. Because soon enough, every Walmart in the like 50-mile radius from my house will have
They won't.
Studio Series 86 for forever.
Forever.
I look forward to what... Has, Grimlock been cited yet?
Nope.
No,
Fixed?
he's the only
He's-
one that hasn't.
Yeah.
So I think Grim and the deluxes, I have a feeling, will be like the next crop. Like Grim and the deluxes will show up, and then all the Voyagers will mysteriously disappear.
That's not wrong.
Be annoying. So yeah. If you want to follow us, you can follow us at Steel City Bots on Twitter. I personally can be found on Twitter at Logos Miner, where you can see more. Lately, I've been taking more pictures, and people seem to like my pictures. But I think
they're good pictures.
I don't know if I like I don't. Are they good pictures, or is it just because I'm putting neat things together? Like, I don't know.
I mean, constructive criticism. The lighting is kind of weird in your pictures, but I get that.
The lighting's awful.
Yeah, no, and I get that's just because you're working with whatever lights you got in your house. But the posing is really good.
It's the floor. No, if I had, I wanted to get another desk lamp, and then I would probably like actually use like desk lamps, and then I have like this like foam material that I use to diffuse the lights. But like one time I took kind of good pictures of Cloud Optimus, and then filled my makeshift light box full of crap because I needed to clean the basement. So now it's currently before it was full of stuff. Now like Earthrise boxes. Now it just has Legends Headmaster Rodimus, who's also crap. So I was fine with the Titans Return mold, and now I have Studio Series Hot Rod, and I can't even look at the Titans Return one. It looks awful. It's so bad.
I thought it looked bad when it came out, but like looking back at it, it's terrible. I still want to try to make that into an IDW Chrome Dome, because like if he had the big wheels, that would be a pretty good IDW Chrome Dome.
I thought he looked fine. As the Legends one, I thought the Titans Return one looked awful, but I still like searched high and low every Walgreens I could to find him and Cup. I didn't even buy Cup, but him and Getaway. Cup wasn't in that wave, I think, but him and Getaway, I got them. And then the Power of the Primes one's also like, I look at the Power of the Primes one now, I'm just like, goodbye.
Get out of my house.
Like, basically. And for more tweets of that, or tweets of that same wit and caliber, you can follow Zeus at _Zeus. You could also check him out on Twitch, where he spends 6 hours building half of a Razor Crest, and apparently has an awful time doing it.
It was like It was 2 hours. It was 2 hours. I was alone the whole time, and I was just losing my mind trying to like make conversation in case someone did show up or in case someone goes back and watches the VOD. I think I went through like 2 or 3 existential crises over the course of that.
I wanted to join, but I was working. But the build was fine, right?
Yeah, no, the build was fun. I had one major screw up where I basically had to disassemble the entire upper section, because I had a couple of like 1x2 bricks pegged in one spot too far back, and I couldn't put like part of the cockpit in, so I kind of had to disassemble like a big chunk of it just to fix that. But that was the worst that it was at any point. Okay. The build was fun, other than my own stupid mistake, which to be fair was because I had the instruction manual like a foot and a half away from me.
Based on your tweets after you ended your stream, I wasn't sure, and it was also because I saw them because I was like, oh, I'll join Zeus' stream, and then when I saw you were like, oh, I ended the stream. I'm like, oh, okay. But based off your tweets, I wasn't sure if the streaming part wasn't the thing you enjoyed, or if the build was actually bad. Because
it was the fact that because like usually when I'm building, I have on like some music or a podcast or something, but I couldn't do that because I was on Twitch and I had to basically be on the entire time. And I have a hard enough time just being on normally, but having to do it alone was very difficult.
Yeah.
Having no one to like bounce off of and no chat to interact with, it's
well, at least because I know you were tweeting kind of like your journey and actually even like finding one to buy.
Yeah.
at least for a bit. So that's one thing where I was like, oh man, he spent all that time finding one. Finally found one for. I'm pretty sure you bought it for retail. If
Yeah,
not less.
retail.
Right, and then so you buy it for retail because it was going. I remember checking; it was going for like crazy amounts of money for a bit.
It was like $300 at one point.
That's great. Yeah, that's insane. It's like, oh, it's still a pretty like pricey set. So if it was like, oh, this build's also garbage, it'd have been like, oh, that's awful.
No, it's a fun build. It's a lot of it's like Technic though, because it's pretty much the entire internal structure is like Technic pieces.
Okay.
Which it makes sense because if it's like just a solid brick ship, it's going to be like twice the price.
Right.
So it's got to have some just like Technic structure to it, just to keep costs down.
You'd be approaching HasLab levels of price, and at that
Right.
point, you're like, especially if
Yeah.
you're fully caught up with the Mandalorian, you're at a point where you're like, why am I spending all this money?
Yeah, no, and it's also like way more structurally sound if it's being reinforced by like Technic pieces.
I felt so bad for the HasLab people when I saw that episode. Why did you go through all that? What was the point?
If I had spent more than retail for that, I would have felt bad.
Like I hope they have an alternate build that's just like the remains and the Beskar staff.
They just send you a bag of dirt and randomly inside of it is the spear and you have to find it.
Unrelated Mandalorian prediction, I still think that's going to end up being like I think the staff is going to end up being a bigger plot point than we were initially led to believe.
Maybe, but I also don't. I mean, they might have a thing of like who used to own it, but I think the Darksaber, like,
no,
unfortunately,
the Darksaber is like the big MacGuffin, but I think once they not like move past, but start to kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not wrap up, but once they kind of start to develop the Darksaber story a little more, I think we're gonna find out some information about the staff. I think it's gonna come into it.
Once Mando throws the Darksaber into a sun,
then the staff will be the big MacGuffin.
And then he's just like, I like Beskar, and then that's the end.
That's the end of the show. He just says, I like Beskar. Credits roll.
All right. Jared, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at dreadprime_. That's where I'm at basically all the time. I'm actually working on a new custom, which should be out a few days after.
I think
recording.
that's gonna make the rounds because it's I don't know. Part of it's also your customs usually look. I say usually like your customs, especially since like you started doing them like all the way back like Cyber Shockwave. That's like one of the early ones I can think of. Like you've gotten really good, and then just very inspired. Did you just take an Earthrise Starscream? Like, did you just take your Earthrise Starscream, or did you have another one?
I had another one because like I ordered the like a Starscream off Amazon, but then I found him like in Target. The other Starscream that I ordered off Amazon was already shipped and was almost here. So I'm just like, crap.
I think you're making good use of it. I somewhat if you're listening to this before Jared's posted it, I've somewhat spoiled it because it's based off of the Seeker mold, but you're not going to be able to guess. You're not going to be able to guess what it is.
I guessed it.
Like, no, you didn't.
I did.
Not exactly.
Well, yeah, but I was closest.
Yeah, but not. But you weren't exactly it. Anyways, that's one thing I kind of like to kind of be my customs. It's like not the go-to custom, like make a Nemesis out of an Optimus or something like that. Like obviously I can do like my rounds of Nemesis Primes like I did for Eric, but like I kind of like to do some of the like not some of the obscure stuff like the Marvel Comics Megatron out of Red Megatron that I did, which blew up more than I was expecting.
No, and I think what you've hit a stroke of genius that might blow up in a very similar way. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see that on Twitter because I feel like that's gonna.
Oh, me too.
That's gonna
Make
do the
it-
round.
Turning out really good.
All right, Pipes. Where can people find you?
Spaceboy Pipes on Twitter, and then Spaceboy Pics on Instagram. But I don't really use that anymore, so probably just Twitter.
Cool. And then Michael, who has like a whole media empire.
You think he left?
He did.
He
Yeah,
left.
he left.
Oh,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
left. He didn't even tell us, or he didn't, or I didn't.
He
He said it
wrote
in the chat. You just didn't see it.
I have like chat muted or something. All right.
Way
Well,
to go.
You can find Michael at Soundjack426 on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and at RDSJ Gaming on YouTube. And I think they have a Twitter. Yeah, they have a Twitter too. Where he plays video games with
Rational Dove.
Alyssa. They also recently launched their Twitch, which Alyssa has been playing games on. So go follow them on Twitch. And even subscribe. I don't know how Twitch works, so I don't know.
Yeah,
if
you have to pay for a subscription, or you can.
I know
subscribe
that.
to
I just don't know if they have to be
You can
affiliate.
subscribe. You can subscribe to anyone. It's just that they get better. I think you get better like payout if you're a Twitch affiliate. You can still subscribe though.
Okay, so yeah, go throw money at them.
Or sub
and-
with Twitch Prime, the thing that probably most of you are gonna do.
Yeah. But until next time, yeah, until you'll hear from us when you sub to their channel. All of the notices are all us. Yeah.
We will go media dark until you subscribe to
That's not what
RDSJ Gaming.
I mean, that could also be a thing. But yeah. Thanks everyone for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to moisturize.